Hi there folks, Matt Hayson with a week that was in property. Now this week I want to delve into the auction market and how things are recorded and reported, just to give you a bit of better insight. So particularly last Saturday, which was affectionately known as a Super Saturday, where 796 properties were booked to go under the hammer in the Sydney metro market. Now on Saturday afternoon, Domain reported a clearance rate sitting at 70%. Now you would assume that is from the 796 properties that were auctioned. However, not so true. It was only from around 550 properties, because 30% of these sales actually hadn't recorded or registered an outcome as yet. Now, why haven't they been recorded? I can tell you a few things can happen. One, an agent sometimes will get a request not to disclose the result from either the buyer or seller, which is fair enough. Secondary to that, maybe the property passed in and the agent's in post-auction negotiations, aiming to get a deal done, and then they'd report the result, which again is fair enough. And then thirdly, and I think is probably the most predominant thing, is a property just passed in and didn't sell, and the agent isn't reporting that outcome. So to call it a 70% clearance rate when there's 796 auctions but only from 550 outcomes is not quite accurate. Now, from the 550 sales that were remaining, another 30% of these actually sold prior to auction. Now this is happening because the agent's understanding what's going on through the course of the campaign and making a clear direction to the seller. The best outcome for your sale is to sell it prior to auction, which is really a private treaty sale. However, that successful sale is still contributed to the auction clearance rate as being a successful sale. So what that really leaves us though is around 390 sales actually were physically auctioned by an auctioneer on Saturday from almost 800 that were actually booked. Now the clearance rate we really want to know about is how many of those 390 odd sales actually physically sold under auction conditions. And that can vary from market to market. For example, in Balmain, there might be a weekend where we have 10 particular properties going under the hammer, and that higher volume will see a lower clearance rate. The next weekend, we might only see 2 auctions and both may sell, and that's a 100% clearance rate. Now, without beating the drum or talking about the value of an agent, we really understand what's happening in our individual markets on a week-by-week basis, and we can provide the best advice. Just calling a blanket Sydney Metro clearance rate of 70% is really not that accurate. And in a fragmented and transitioning market that we're dealing with at the moment, this is of real value to the consumer to understand what is actually happening with the auction market today in the market or region that you're searching for. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. Now, one of my most favourite things that we do here in the Cobden and Hayson network is Art Month. And this is something which we really engage with the community, particularly children out in the community, where we go out and we ask you guys to design our sold stickers. So over the last couple of years, we've had some amazing entries and they've become our sold stickers across all of the market in the inner urban fringe of Sydney. So how do you enter? You can either pick up an entry form from any one of our 5 locations, or they're going to be around in select cafes in your local neighbourhood. So make sure you pick one up, fill in and do your best drawing, and you can win some amazing art supplies for yourself and also your school. And if you've got a really good sold sticker, we will produce them and they'll be on a board in your area very soon. So make sure you get involved with that. Guys, we've got some great properties and some other incredible auctions going under the hammer. I'll be keeping a close eye on that clearance rate, and we look forward to seeing you guys out and about. Thanks for watching.